Cricut? You have a Cricut? Do you hate it?
I don't use it much.
You don't use it much. The reason why is because you pay $40 a cartridge for one design.
Yeah.
And that's a pain, right? Okay. Well, this is
lettering is about the only thing I've ever done with it.
well, and this is totally, this you can do so much more than you ever could. I have a Cricut. I had two of them. Somebody sent me a message the other day and asked me which could I compare the two. They knew which one I preferred, but could I compare them? I'm like, I can compare them all day long. This, the possibilities are endless on it. For $269, you can't beat it. Everything up here on this table was done with it. From, where's my elephant shirt? Let's see. This was done on it with an inkjet printer. This was a burlap piece that was supposed to be a door hanger and it never got complete for my child's birthday, so it's just a demonstration piece now. Welcome to my office. This was done on it with just a regular inkjet printer and my silhouette. Let's see, these were done on it. Not just my polka dots, the front part was done also with ink, with print and cut. The print and cut feature. But then if you're not real savvy and you just think, oh, that's way over my head, this was done in the class Saturday with just plain old vinyl. Layered vinyl is all we did. And it's just as cute as the other. So you can cut vinyl, you can cut fabric with it, you can cut heat transfer vinyl, you can cut printable vinyl. I haven't found anything, and now it's got a PixScan mat. So now it also has something that you can, how many of y'all have heard of the Brother has a new machine out called the Scan and Cut, and it's $6.99. Okay, everybody, I know you've probably heard of it. This machine will do that plus more for $269.
How big?
I can go 12 inches wide by 12 feet long.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
You can make a banner, and not only that, but you can use the software program, and if I want to go bigger than 12 inches wide, what I do is I set it up at 24 or 36 inches wide. I split it to 12-inch sections, cut them, and then I find my overlapping spots, and I can go as big as I want with it. I mean, I can just split my design in a certain area and keep going. So, the other part that's wonderful about this is I'm instant gratification type person. Like when I want something, I want it right then and there, and I want to download it right then and there. And you can go straight to their website from the software program, which is what you're looking at right now, and I can buy any design I want for 99 cents. The most I've seen a design is $1.50. It goes straight to my software program. I don't have to download it like embroidery. I don't have to unzip anything. I don't have to move it to a certain file folder. As soon as I purchase it on their software, it goes straight to my little box, and everything I've ever bought is right here in this little book right here. I click right there, and there is all 395 of my designs that I have.
Does the software come with the machine?
Software comes with it, yes.
Wow.
Yes, you get the software with it, yes. The other part that's wonderful about it is you can expand it to a designer edition. So just like digitizing, it runs you $45 to expand to the digitizing version of it, where you can create your own drawings. Like you can create anything you want. If you like to draw on your Masterworks program, and it's basically the exact same thing. I draw every day on Masterworks. I can draw on this also. So that gives you a little bit of a idea of what you can cut paper. You can cut cardstock. This was done with heat transfer vinyl in our class last week. Sweet, 3 little initials. These were done on it. Walmart flip-flops, $4 with my initials on them. With my iron, my plain old iron, and some heat transfer vinyl. So you can pretty much do, I did my rain boots, and then I found this awesome idea the other day. This, you take your blade out, put an ink pen in, and instead of cutting, it draws. So I took chalkboard letters, and I had the most gosh awful handwriting you've ever seen in your life. So I don't do very good with chalkboard, but I love the look of it. So I was able to put a white pen straight in my blade holder, and it sketched right for me my Happy Halloween letters I put up on my computer screen. And then I just glued it onto a $3.99 piece of chipboard, added some ribbon, and there's my door hanger.
When you say pen, what kind of, is it a special pen
Now Silhouette does make a pen. They've been out of stock on them, so I didn't have the pen. I ended up going to Michael's and buying just a white paint pen, like a white marker for like scrapbooking. Is what I ended up buying because we've tried. They're out of them right now. I'm sure the Silhouette one would probably work, and it's probably a little more fine point, so I'm anxious to try to use their white pen on it, but so far we haven't been able to get it, so I may do. But I did Christmas ornaments. Hey, Mary. And if curves drive you crazy, you can do straight flat too. I'm sure if you know me, you don't know who Maggie is by any means. Nobody knows who Maggie the Mess is or Maggie the Monster is, as we like to call her. So, okay, I'm going to show you how we're going to cut something. So I'm just going to demo real quick for you how you would cut a design, and we're going to put a pair of witches' feet together real quick for Halloween, okay? And I've already pulled it up in my software. And this is what, if I purchase a design, this is how it comes. And to some people it might be a little confusing, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do. I'm going to ungroup them and I'm going to move my feet over the cauldron. Hold on. Oh, by the way, that's my favorite button. Can I say that in here, what it is?
Yes, you can.
It's the OSHIT button. Everybody should have one in life, too, by the way. So, that is my favorite button right there. Oh, crud! You do something and you go, click, takes it all the way back to where you were before.
I did that 20 times last night.
I did it, yes, every day. So, we're going to cut our cauldron out first. So, I'm going to move everything else off my mat, because this is the other part that's wonderful. In this software, anything in the gray area, it will not cut. It only cuts what's in the white. So I can break something apart, I can move parts around, I can throw everything out into no man's land, and I can just have it sitting there ready for me to send it to the machine and cut. So, alright, I think cauldrons are black, so we're going to use some black vinyl. I'm just going to load it up on our machine real quick. I heard somebody say make good Christmas presents. Oh my gosh, you could make so many cute. I just had an idea. I found a piece of metal, like just a plain old piece of stainless metal. And I thought, how cute would it be to punch holes in it? Put a piece of ribbon at the top. Big initials in the middle with magnets for a girl for her room as a magnet board. How cute would it be? And the metal is nothing. Like you don't, I mean, they're nothing for that. So you can pretty much do anything with it. Alright, I'm going to send over here. It would help if I would plug it into the embroidery, into the cutter. Alright. Make sure my settings are to vinyl so I don't destroy my mat. And we're going to cut. This piece, okay, this one right here is the vinyl. That is done with vinyl. I just took a bunch of different sized scrap boards out of my wood shop, put them together with my jig, my Craig jig, and jigged them together, and that was it. And then I just stapled them together.
Well, I've got pieces of old wood from my uncle's barn, which was built back in 1903.
Where do you live again? I'm coming to rob you.
Bill. And my son took the old wood gates and built a beautiful queen-size headboard and footboard. Oh, it turned out so pretty. But I'd like to put something on there with my uncle's name.
Now,
Need some scissors?
yes, I do. I think, well, they might be over here. Here, they are. They're right here. And you might put them in my bag. I just didn't know where I threw them in. Okay. So before I weed, which is what you call pulling the extra off from around it, I like to trim, because then I'm not wasting my extra, because I always just kind of like fabric. No fabric gets left behind in my office. It's every little piece is saved for something. Vinyl has become that way too in my house. So
You save it on your sticky board like you did when you dropped it.
yeah, save it on my sticky board when you drop it into the floor. It was a version of me saving all those fabric scraps is what it was. That is exactly what it was. So, and if this is hard for me to pull apart with, Mel has this awesome tool by Silhouette. Before I learned about this tool last week, I used a seam ripper and a straight pin. Don't make fun of me. But now there's a hook that does it. So now I have a cauldron. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to pull my cauldron off my, I hate Windows 8 off. Pull him off because I'm done with him. And I want to pull my little witch's legs in.
Tell me if I'm in the way.
No, you're good, girl. You're fine. Put our legs down. Maybe those in lime green. Now, there's another method to doing this, and when you get really good at it, you can piece your stuff together, and like you can move your feet over here, your shoes here, your cauldron here, your pants, your other part, your belt buckles there, and put different colors in different corners. I, for the life of me, end up cutting something's head off, or a foot off, or half my letter off, or something. So I just quit trying to do it. All I did was get mad at myself. So it really didn't save me any time because I was double cutting every time. But, front row. What happens when the cursor's on the button there?
Can you rotate your parts?
You can rotate them, you can resize them. It will not mess up like when you resize something you bought for embroidery, it messes up the stitches. You can resize this as big as you want it, you can make it as small as you want it. As long as you can cut it out, the possibilities are endless. There's a crank and cut feature now also. Okay. So
Boots are my favorite.
my rain boots.
Yeah.
Hi, and it was so funny, somebody said, man, because I guess you posted it Monday. Is that when you posted the picture? Somebody said, one of my friends, one of the guys I work with, he goes, man, what were you so happy about today? Where were you with those rain boots on the internet? And I started laughing, and I was like, that was Saturday. I wasn't at the job at that point. I was content. And he goes, oh, never mind. All right. Let's get our little buckles cut really quick. Mel sells them in the starter kit, and she's going to keep them for a little while, probably not always on, but I've got like 3 or 4 places that I give you in the class, like and Mel can give it to you too if you think you know how to do it and can go without Jag in the class. There's 3 or 4 different websites that I like to buy from that you can order offline, and I ordered anywhere from, and then I forgot to show these the last class, but you can even get printed vinyl now. It's outdoor vinyl that's printed. So if I wanted to, I could have made my witch's legs chevron if I wanted, or polka dots, or whatever. And you can use outdoor printed vinyl also. And you can get that from craftvinyl.com is where that one's from. And that's probably my favorite place to get vinyl is craftvinyl.com. And if you're not in a hurry, it's the cheapest place to buy it from.
You do have a bunch of stuff from the printing here?
Yes.
Because my daughter does that
all the vinyl.
She's going to love this.
All the vinyl, everything. In fact, I was picking up, earlier I was looking for some glitter flax, which is, you can cut this with it too, which is heat transfer, but I use this for appliquing now. This is like my new favorite thing for appliques, because I get the glitter look without that crunchy thick, and without those glue dots. Oh, nothing makes me madder than the sequenced glue dot fabric. So I was looking for red, and I came across, I have a roll of Cricut brands in my bucket of supplies. So yes, you can All of that, other than the designs, are not interchangeable. But as far as everything else goes, yes. It is all the supplies and everything. You can rock and roll. Just make sure when you use this for applique, you pull the plastic piece off, or you will hear your grandchildren or your children coming down the hall everywhere they go. But I just pull it off and I lay it down just like I would a piece of fabric when I applique. It's called Glitter Flex. It's a glitter heat transfer vinyl. It's what it is. I get it from heattransferwarehouse.com. I think a yard of it is $13.99 for one whole yard at 20 inches wide. I mean, it's a good size sheet of it. You can even buy like a 12 by 20 day piece for $4. And y'all pass it around, y'all can look at it. You can pull it off. It does tear a little bit easier than, it will tear, unlike fabric, it will tear a little bit if you pull on it. But once, when you go to do your, you wouldn't put heat and bond light behind it. And instead of doing, when you go to iron, with your iron, make sure you put I always use a Teflon sheet anyway, but make sure you iron with a piece of parchment paper or Teflon, and once you glue it down with your iron, it's not going anywhere. It's stuck there. It is wonderful. And it's real thin, so it's not thick and puffy like those sheets people were using from Hobby Lobby. It launders beautifully. It is the best thing I found for glitter for appliques. So y'all can pass it around and look at it too.
It's called Glitter Flex.
Glitter Flex.
And what was the website?
Heattransferwarehouse.com. And if you go to, if you're on their website, it says glitter vinyl or glitter heat transfer material. It's the first one on the left-hand side. Just go on it. Okay, so now I have all my parts to my wedge. And I'm going to assemble him. So the way I like to assemble him, I like to stick him something to stick him down to. Now, I can do him like this, which when you've got bigger parts, this works just fine. But when you have smaller parts, you need to use something called transfer tape. Melanie sells an amazing one by Silhouette that has grids on it. So if you're like me and you can't get straight, because this took me, I ended up having, that's what I used to do this one, so I can make sure it was all straight. This is a double pane picture frame from Hobby Lobby for like $6.99. That was it. And all I did was use indoor vinyl by Silhouette, cut it out, put my vinyl on it, removed my fingerprints with alcohol. There were lots of them. And that was it. Simple, easy. My child loves it. It's hers. I stole it from her so I could bring it to the class. If for some reason you got a bunch of little parts and you want them not to get messed up, you would use this, which is transfer tape.
Looking for your spray tray?
No, I'm looking for a squeegee, but when in doubt, I always have a backup. Okay. And I'm going to squeegee him on. Now, I can pretty much put him wherever I want to put him. Now he's stuck on here, which is just tacky transfer tape. So I'm going to put him with my witch's legs. So I'm going to line him up exactly where I want him to go. Push him down. Ta-da! There he is. Same thing with my shoes. And I'm all peel and stick these.
When I was doing the wall yesterday in Gage's room, the grid really helped me keep it straight on the wall.
That grid helps. That grid is a lifesaver. Unbuckle.
Does the software come with some built-in fonts? Or?
It does, and let me tell you, that's the best part. Hello, thank you, whoever just jogged my memory for that. Here's the best part. You don't have to buy fonts. Every font that's on your computer that's what's called a true type font, it will cut. Now, there's some of them that I'm going to tell you don't cut just as pretty, just like when you embroider. Some true type fonts don't do as pretty as others. Chunky and big is always, chunky and fat is what I say. Chunky and plump are the best way to go with cutting a font. But yes, like any font, this is Vine from Font Brothers. It cut this beautifully.
Is it bold? Is it a bold?
It's Vine Bold, yes.
Yeah.
When you buy it, it's the one that's $19.99 from Font Brothers, but well worth it. I use it on my embroidery software. I use it on this. I use it, and then this is the circle monogram that I did with it also. That's the circle one that's $19.99 from Font Brothers. That's what the ELH is too. On my flip-flops.
But to do Gage's pirate font, but in Ahoy Matey, I went to freefonts.com and got the pirate font, typed it in, and it cut it out.
DA Fonts is another, DA,
The font?
the font, F-O-N-T, DAFONT.com is another good one. Be careful though. Free Fonts is great, 1001 Fonts is good, the Fonts is good. Trying to think. There's a couple of them I'm real leery about. Some of them is like, I ended up with something, like I ended up one time trying to find a font, and my husband got so mad at me. He had to uninstall Windows and reinstall it because I got a pop-up virus through a font. So be real careful those are all really good ones. I'm just trying to think if there's another one out there. Font Space is another one.
That's good.
That's a good one.
Font Space is good also. That's a good one.
So we have free fonts, 1001 fonts, Font Space, and you said there was another one that you used to get your...
DaFonts, D-A-F-O-N-T-S. And then Font Brothers you have to pay for. That's the only one that I've ever paid for fonts with, but I wanted something and I wanted it to be good. It was worth the $19.99.
And that's for the whole.
That's for the whole entire alphabet, including a circle that will go around it for you.
That's not bad, 19
No.
for the whole alphabet, and you don't have any trash.
No trash, no nothing. It's good, clean. You can use it on, and I can use it literally every one of their, anytime I've bought from them, the 2 or 3, I also bought the Greek letters from them. But the 3 that I've bought from them pull beautifully into Masterworks and digitize beautifully every time. Like, have not had an issue with them. So we have witches' feet. So, simple, easy. I promise if you can.
A lot of fun.
Oh my gosh.
Too late last night playing.
I tried to stay up playing. I couldn't find my power cord. Just tore my house up until 11:30 last night looking for my power cord. Mel calls me this morning at 9 o'clock. Do you have your Cameo? I'm like, yeah, but I don't have a power cord. She said, your power cord's up here.
Uh-oh.
So where's that? Gotcha. So, this is done with the feature that's a print and cut that is also on it, and you can fill in with it. It's a wonderful feature.
Show me that.
I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So, let's say I want to type in, let me find a fat font that I can do it with real quick. Cherry is one of my favorites. Okay. Can y'all see that on the computer screen? Okay, I'll make it black where y'all can see it better. Is that better? Can y'all see it better now, or maybe should I stay in red? Okay. So, you can do what's called a print and cut feature, which is wonderful because I want to take Maggie's name and I want to fill it in with purple and gold chevron. All I have to do is click any background paper I want, and it will change it for me. There we go. And then, if I want to make it bigger, I want to make that chevron bigger, I can always scale it and make my chevron as big as I want it. Now, what I do is I add on these wonderful little things called a registration mark. And what it does is it tells the Cameo where to cut. And I size it to my printer. And then what I would do is I would take this and I would print it on my printer with those marks on it. And those marks are going to tell my Cameo where to cut. Then I take it and I put that on that, whatever I printed on, onto my mat, put it in my Cameo, and it will cut all the way around what I just printed. Hence how I did my elephant, how I did Happy Fall Y'all, and that's how I did my bunny rabbit too. And there's a way to trace it, and we can go way, way, way in depth, and that's the advanced class without totally blowing your mind. Simple, quick demo of how you can fill in with any pattern. I filled in with Lily Pulsar. I filled in with Vera Bradley that I hijacked off the internet. Thank you very much. Probably don't ever sell that, but for my kids' sake, it was great. It looked adorable on their notebooks with their initials in Lily Pulsar print. It's endless what you can do. Now, there's also something new that's a new feature with it that's called a PixScan, and it is a mat. And now, not only are you limited to what you can pull into your software, but with this mat right here, I can take my iPhone or my iPad, and let's say there is a piece of fabric, and it's got Christmas trees on it. And I want to cut just one of those trees out so I can iron-on applique with it, or I can free motion applique with that tree. Instead of sitting there with my scissors and trying to cut all the way around it, I can take a picture with my iPhone, save it to my Silhouette software, upload it, it will scan it in, and I can put the piece of fabric on here and it will cut that Christmas tree out for me absolutely perfectly.
Endless.
Endless. Like, it blows my mind. I was so excited the other day when I figured this feature out. I was like, no, I'm not going to believe what it'll let me do now. I can make anything look like chalkboard, and I just stick a pen in it. I'm telling you, it's every day I learn something. It's so much fun.
But to do the photo thing, it has to be an iPhone?
No, it can be any, you can use,
Smartphone. It can be a camera.
it can be a camera, it can be, yes, you can take a picture with your camera.
Some of us old folks don't have iPhones.
Okay, that's okay. Well, that's okay. My mother decided she wanted a Facebook account the other day. A Spacebook, not a Facebook, a Spacebook account. So we decided to create her one. Her iPhone is so old, you can't even load the app to it, okay? So it's okay. I completely, anybody have any questions on it at all? Did I stay within my time frame? Did I? Yeah. Any questions? Anybody want to know anything else about it?
I love mine.
One other thing too. One more thing you can do. You're not limited to just what's on the Silhouette store. You can purchase things off the internet and use them also. They don't download straight to your program. You have to open them up like you would open up an embroidery file in your software. But you can do it, so if you want something that's like the Olaf or the Elsa head, that's a registered trademark that you're not supposed to use technically, you can use those SVGs on this machine also. You're not limited to just what's in the Silhouette store. You can buy anything on the internet also.
A lot of y'all remember the quilt that I made, the little tree with the leaves and the bird and the acorn. I cut them all on this. And I was able
All your
to
fabric.
cut about probably 12 or 16 leaves at one time.
That was the first one I did with the marker.
Oh, cute.
Just fun. Plain old paper.
So you just put the paper in there and did it?
I just put black paper.
This is cardstock.
It's black cardstock.
Would that not make some cute invites?
So it's just cardstock, you didn't have paint blackboard, I mean, you know, have the regular blackboard?
Nope. Watch.
Did you do it on the paper and then put it on the board?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I set Super 77 the paper to the board.
What's that?
It's like a permanent adhesive spray. Just don't get it on you. You will stick to everything in the world that day. But yeah, you can put. Okay, this is on back order right now. But Mel's got them coming. They're the pen holders from Silhouette. And I just put my pen in there where my blade would go. Right where my blade is. Just put my pen in there.
Look who's here.
And then
Look who's in town. How are you?
Well, he's grown.
You just got that out of a font.
this is a font, yes. And I'm not liking that one. Hold on. Let me do another one for you. Okay, so here's another one. I'm going to send it to my Silhouette.
Do you like the original pen holder that it comes with, or did you upgrade to the one that they're just coming out with?
This is the newest one. I never had used the original one, but I was told that it was cruddy. So I had never played with it. But when the new one came out, I grabbed it because it actually comes in a bunch. You've got a bunch of little tips that you can put in there to resize it. And now the Silhouette pen goes straight in your thing. You don't have to have the pen holder for that. But to be able to put just a plain old marker like this in there, this works great. I mean, it's got like a springy form version of it. So it did great for me.
Did you stick the black paper to something?
I just put the black paper on my mat,
Okay.
on the mat. Just a black. It's just a piece of black cardstock.
And it doesn't stick.
No. Using the negative. Yes. You can also make stencils with it. So this was done with the stencil. I took the negative part and I pulled out the part. I painted it all white. Put it down. Put my stencil down. Pulled out the part that I wanted blue. Went back with the stencil brush, and then I did the negative. Actually, I ended up drawing this part on with the template I made out of cardstock. I just cut my letters out with cardstock, drew it on, and then went back and hand painted her initials. But these were done with it also the same way.
Okay, I didn't understand.
It's okay. What I did was I made a stencil with it. I just used like stencil material. Silhouette makes a brand of stencil. This was done with like Oracle or here it is right here. It's sticky stencil. What I do is I can cut it, I pull it off just like I would pull off vinyl, but it's got a good feel to it. I lay it straight down, paint over it. When it dries, I pull it off. And I'm going to do it with the negative version. oh, that was not proper English. I saw today, this morning, on the internet, somebody had done a saying like this, but they had put the lettering down with this stuff, cut out this, transferred their lettering on just like this, went back and spray painted over it. pulled their letters off, the color underneath showed through where the letters were and distressed it where it wasn't vinyl on there. So it was a neat, I'm going to play with it and see if I can, just a different way to do stuff.